How do you overcome the fear of inevitable death? Epicurus, death does not concern us, because as long as we exist, death is not here. And once it does come, we no longer exist. We die every night in many respects. It's the process of dying that can be distasteful, but death itself is inherently unknowable and always will be, and therefore nothing to fear. Let me know if you figure it out. I've tried both the religious and indifferent routes. I'm still terrified. Same. That's why I bury myself in hedonism and distractions, lol. My granddad died of prostate cancer in his early 60s. And now my dad, 58, has also recently been diagnosed with prostate cancer. My mom is heartbroken and so scared of him dying, but Dad isn't bothered at all. He says I could live with cancer and fear death for years, or I could step into the road and be hit by a bus in 10 minutes. Focus on the now. I'm obviously saddened by the news, yet I can't help but take solace in his behavior. If he isn't scared, I shouldn't be either. Accept it. There's nothing anyone can do to avoid it. Use your time wisely here and enjoy it. Thanks to a deal, I'm immortal. Post-nut clarity hitting hard, I see. The billions of years before you existed didn't cause you any inconvenience, so why should the billions after? This is a fascinating and thought-provoking topic that has sparked diverse perspectives from different people. The idea of overcoming the fear of inevitable death is a universal struggle that everyone has to grapple with at some point in their lives. It's intriguing to see how different individuals approach this existential fear, whether through philosophical beliefs, personal experiences, or humor. I find it so interesting how some people choose to embrace hedonism and distractions as a way to cope with their fear, while others find solace in focusing on the present moment and accepting the inevitability of death. And then there's the humorous comment about being immortal due to a deal, which adds an unexpected twist to the conversation. How do you personally approach the fear of inevitable death? Have you found any effective ways to overcome or come to terms with it? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's move right into our next Reddit post. What's something normal humans do that grosses you out? The amount of people that don't wash their hands with soap after using the bathroom is disgusting. Edit, wash. Also, I'm reading, upvoting, and agreeing with these responses. Thank you to everyone who washes their hands with soap and water. I appreciate you. My boyfriend spent a night out, then tried to get romantic. I was like, okay, you just trekked through multiple bars, pumped gas, and never washed your hands. You, sir, are a walking, talking yeast infection. And that's how he learned to always wash his hands as soon as he gets home. Spitting makes me feel sick when someone just randomly spits on the floor. Not allowing fresh air into your home, especially your bedroom, is gross. Stagnant air grosses me out. Licking their fingers to grab something they hand over to you like money or ID. I work in retail. I'm definitely not a germaphobe, but that's just not cool. Blowing their nose/spitting directly on the street. I work in a kindergarten, and a dad did it on the playground, picking up his child. Like, sir, children play on the ground here. Nasty. Not closing the toilet lid before flushing. Like, seriously, it takes almost no effort to do. I know it doesn't block 100% of the aerosolized crap, but it does stop most of it. Do an experiment. Use some kind of dark, pigmented toilet cleaner, or just add some food coloring to the water tank, and over a week watch the color appear on your walls, floor, basin. And those same people are also usually the ones that have an uncovered toothbrush within the splash zone. Do people seriously not mind brushing their teeth with tiny particles of their own poop, pee, and toilet cleaner? Grabbing fresh bread from the store without using the provided tongs. Never trust people and their hands. Wearing jewelry on or around the hands while handling food, especially raw meat and eggs. This topic is definitely interesting and kind of gross. I mean, the things people do without thinking about it can be pretty nasty. Like not washing hands with soap after using the bathroom, or licking their fingers before grabbing something to hand over to you. And let's not even get started on not closing the toilet lid before flushing. That experiment with the food coloring in the water tank is both disgusting and kind of eye-opening. Who knew there could be so much aerosolized crap flying around in the bathroom? And then using an uncovered toothbrush in the splash zone. Yuck! But seriously, these are things that we probably never really think about until someone brings it up. It's a good reminder to pay more attention to our hygiene habits. So, what's something normal that other people do that totally grosses you out? Have you ever confronted someone about their hygiene habits? Or do you just try to avoid thinking about it? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's move right into our next Reddit post. The last 10 minutes make the movie. What movies is this true for? The Mist. It's not the best movie ever, but the ending, holy hell. I liked hearing that Stephen King prefers the movie ending to his own ending in this one. Shutter Island is 2H 19 minutes long. If you skip the final 10 minutes, you have wasted 2H09 of your time. Change my mind. Rogue One. It would have been nowhere near as impactful without that scene. Comment. The comments are discussing the impact and importance of the last 10 minutes of certain movies. Response. Oh my gosh, I totally agree with the comments about The Mist and Rogue One. The endings of those movies completely changed the way I felt about the entire story. The Mist had me sitting in shock for hours after watching it, and Rogue One just added so much more depth and emotion to the Star Wars universe. I can't even imagine those movies without their last 10 minutes. And Shutter Island. Wow. The entire build-up and suspense lead to that jaw-dropping ending that completely alters your perception of the entire film. It's like the whole story hinges on those final moments. I'm curious to hear which other movies people believe have a similar impact with their last 10 minutes. What other movies have endings that completely change the way you think about the entire story? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's move right into our next Reddit post. People always say that some movies are so bad it's good. What's an example of a movie so good it's bad? I mean, there are excellent films I have zero desire to watch again, like Irreversible and Requiem for a Dream. The Road is another one I won't be watching again. I like my post-apocalyptic survival family drama films a little less gritty and realistic, please. I'm thinking of movies that leave you unsettled or upset when you didn't want to be. For me, I remember watching American History X on a Friday night in college, right before I was going to go out to a party. It completely ruined my night. Someone on Reddit said they had Requiem for a Dream playing in the background while they were making out with their college girlfriend. Hackers 1995 love the overdeveloped archetypes and the creativity in depicting hacking software. Enter the Fist. That was a masterpiece. The King's Speech. An absolutely straightforward movie with no subtext or complexity that only needs to be seen once or not at all. Schindler's List. Well done. Disturbing as hell. Can't watch it more than once. A lot of people did not read the prompt carefully. The comments here seem to be focused on movies that are powerful and well-made, but also deeply disturbing or unsettling. From Irreversible to Requiem for a Dream to Schindler's List, it's clear that these movies are impactful, but not necessarily enjoyable in the traditional sense. These are the kinds of films that stick with you long after the credits roll, whether you want them to or not. Schindler's List. Well done. Disturbing as hell. Can't watch it more than once. I totally get where you're coming from. Some movies are just so well crafted and deeply affecting that they leave you emotionally drained afterwards. It's like you appreciate the artistry and storytelling, but you don't necessarily want to subject yourself to that level of intensity again. Have you ever had an experience like that with a movie? Overall, there's a consensus on how some movies can be masterpieces in their own right, but still leave an impact that makes it difficult to revisit them. The question is, can you think of a movie that left you in this same state after watching it? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's move right into our next Reddit post. What is the next big purchase you're currently saving for? At this point, isn't everything a big purchase? Yeah, I was about to come here to say groceries. Moving into a safer place for my kids. Paying off my house, very close, only $10 to go. A burnt orange velvet armchair for my living room. Comment: this conversation covers a wide range of topics, from practical to indulgent. Oh my goodness, I totally feel you on that. It's like everything feels like a big purchase these days, right? I mean, I was just thinking about how even groceries seem like a splurge sometimes. And then there's the whole moving into a safer place for the kids thing, which is so important. But hey, kudos to you for being so close to paying off your house. That's a huge accomplishment. And then there's the burnt orange velvet armchair for the living room. I can just imagine how cozy and stylish that will make your space. It's like we're all just trying to make these big purchases that will make our lives better in some way. You know? Question: so what's the next big purchase you have in mind? Are you saving up for something practical, like a new house or paying off debt? Or are you eyeing something more indulgent, like a fancy piece of furniture or a dream vacation? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's move right into our next Reddit post. People who have been arrested. What did you get arrested for? In 1965, as a 13-year-old juvenile, I was arrested for auto theft after stealing a 1961 Chevrolet Impala. I ran out of gas and ended up getting probation and community service. During my community service, I painted park benches and fire hydrants. Interesting. In 2003, I was 17 and I drank one beer and got caught, and I had to hang out with deputies and 100 convicts for 2 weeks. How times have changed. Possession of marijuana and possession of marijuana paraphernalia. Why did I read this in Hank Hill's voice? Stripping in a club without a license. Nobody told me I needed one. I fired a .22 at a guy's feet who was stalking my teenage daughter and showed up on my property after I told him to leave. He kept walking and wouldn't listen. This guy was unhinged. She was terrified of him, and honestly, I wasn't sure what he was going to do. Didn't hit him, it hit the ground nearly 10 feet away from him. He went home and told his mom, and they called the cops. I was released 3 hours later with no charges, and they gave me my rifle back. My roommate worked for the courts and put out a warrant for my arrest for a registration ticket. But what in the petty shit is this? Like, that's messed up, but hilariously petty. I was 16. My ex cheated on me with a 20-year-old. She was 15, and I ran into them at the bus stop. It was the last bus home from a nearby town to my town. The guy tried to pick a fight with me. I stood up for myself. The bus showed up, and he ran onto the bus, telling the bus driver not to let me on because I started it. I tried to explain to the bus driver, but he wouldn't listen to me. The bus had a sticker on it showing the McGruff house, meaning it's supposed to be a safe place for minors. I lost my cool and broke the bus window with my fists trying to get to the 20-year-old. Very stupid. I sat there and waited for the police. They handcuffed me and put me in the back, but were super respectful about it. I talked with them and explained the situation, naming the other guy. They laughed and uncuffed me when they realized I wasn't a threat, and drove me to the next town over to take me home. I called the bus depot the next day and explained the situation, offering to clean buses for free as payment for the window. They said they would question the bus driver and get back to me. They never got back to me, and I never saw him drive buses again. There's only 2 bus routes between the 2 towns. The big guy slapped his small girlfriend and called her a bitch. I, as a larger male, slapped him repeatedly and asked if he was my bitch now. She told the police officers I slapped the guy for no reason. This is such a wild and diverse range of experiences. I mean, we have everything from stealing cars and breaking bus windows to getting arrested for possession of marijuana. And then there's the intense situation where someone fired a gun to protect their daughter. That's like something out of a movie. It's crazy to think about all the different reasons people have been arrested and how they all have their own unique stories. I can't even imagine what it must have been like for them going through those experiences. So, What made you want to ask people about their experiences getting arrested? Have you ever had any encounters with the law yourself? Well, that's another episode of Ask Reddit in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.